Hi there, everybody. It's Jamie, and this is day 5 of the Creative Business Owner Basics workshop. Today is going to be all about thoughts. All about thoughts. And actually, I'm going to tell you right here at the beginning, and I will remind you at the end too. I had planned on, I did not turn off my notification. So let me do that. And that's a good reminder to you for you to turn off your notifications, turn off anything that would be distracting. Mine's in a different place now that I have a new phone. So here we go. So that way I'm not hearing any kind of distractions or anything, but turn off all your distractions and be focused. Be focused here in the next 35 to 40 minutes or so. Have out your notebook. I have 2 pages of notes here in front of me so I don't forget anything that I want to tell you today about thoughts. And I'm going to give you a little warning and say that today you might want to have some tissues because I'm going to share some things. If you remember on day 3, I talked about calling you out on your BS and not the BS that you're thinking. If you were here for day 3, you can put in the comments there what the BS stands for. But you might want some tissues today because some of the things that I'm going to challenge you on and the stories that I'm going to tell you and some of the things that might bring up, you might need a tissue or two. So I see Cheryl popping on. Let me see if I can pull up the comments are pulling up really quick there. Yes. Hey, Loretta. Oh, good. Thank you, Lisa, for putting your name because it's not showing it to me on StreamYard. So I see Sharon popping on. Yes, Loretta said belief system. So yes. So before I get started today's day 5 about thoughts. And just to give you a quick little review that today or day 1, we talked about community and making personal connections. And I do still have the audit to give to, I believe it was, I don't remember right off now on Monday. I don't have my notes of who all won every day. I do still have that to give to that person. And then day 2 was about rest. And I gave the emergency checklist away. And I'm still in the process of sending those. Day 3, we talked about energy. And I have the post to send to the 3 winners that day for engagement on your Facebook Lives and on your page and everything. And then yesterday we talked about the AM routine. And there was an acronym that I shared yesterday, if any of you were here, and if you want to put that in the comments. And I just have to tell you that I didn't have as many people do this. And I don't know if it was because I made it confusing. Like sometimes I think that happens, like you have too many things to do. So I think I maybe didn't share it clearly enough what to do. But I will tell you, I went out and read and saw some of the photos and then came into the group and did not even get a chance to read all of the comments. But there were a couple in there that were very, very touching. So, and just how the morning routine, how they're going to commit to it, and had some very nice comments that I read in there. And so, yes, Cheryl said it's the savers. Yes. And I actually revised my morning routine this morning and kind of consciously thought about those particular letters and that acronym, and if I was incorporating all of those things into my morning routine and like where. So Diana, I'm seeing your post right here. It's his birthday today. And this is the very first one, isn't it? It's been a year, so, or maybe you've celebrated more than one birthday, but I know that it was about this time. So I'm sorry for that. So thank you for being vulnerable and posting that and sharing that with us. So I do honor that and want to recognize that. So yes. So I picked 4 people of the ones that did the challenge. And I kind of was a little bit more lenient this time. If you didn't put the hashtag in both places, or, whatever, if you um, came into the group and said that you did the challenge, I just kind of like verified that you did that. So I didn't necessarily, go and see that you had the hashtag. So I guess is what I'm saying. So I did pick 4 people, and these 4 people are going to get a copy of the 100 Days to Brave, which has been my favorite 100-day devotional that I've used for the past several years. So I'm going to give 4 of those away. So these 4 people do need to go ahead and send me their address to make sure. So you can just send it to me in a private message, either here on my business page or over on my personal profile if we're friends over there. And these are the 4 people that I picked. No particular order, I didn't pick like the certain ones that had the best picture or anything like that. So they were just random. So, and you can let me know in the comments. I know there were a couple like right before I came on the video, if you did do the day 4 challenge. And I'm going to go ahead after I announce the 4 winners and tell you the prize that I'm going to give away today. Because I know that I've said that a lot of the prize, like the 100 Days to Brave book is one of my favorites, but as far as benefit to you, this prize, this challenge that you do today might be the one that you want. And I am going to give away 5 of them today since it's day 5. I can't see who this is if you want to put your name on there, because it's not showing me on Facebook. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing this one either. I don't know why StreamYard is not showing me all of those. So yeah, if you want to put your name after your comment, then I'll be able to tell who it is, because I'm not able to see those. So these are the 4 people, and I will need your address, and I will send you a copy from Amazon for the 100 Days to Brave book. So the first person that I picked, she may have been the very first one that posted that she completed the challenge. It might have been the first one that I saw. And that is Sharon Jones. And I think that I saw her here on the chat. So, oh, Tammy, I've done it before too, and it doesn't show up my name. So, oh, Jerry, you don't have the signal. That's fine. Hey there, Jenny. So I can see some of your names. I'm not sure why some of them don't show up. So Sharon Jones, you can congratulate her in the comments there. The second one, I'm not positive how to pronounce her last name, so I have not seen whether she is watching live or not. If she is not, and you are friends with her, you can put her name in the comments. But is Barbara Unruh? I'm not sure. It's UNRUH. So she did the, oh good. Sharon says she's excited. I think that you will love the 100 Days to Brave. So the second one was Barbara Unruh. And then the third one, I don't know if she's on here live yet either. It is Roxana Griffin, and you can congratulate her in the comments. And then the fourth one is who made a couple of comments in the group, and I'm not even going to reference the comments because I did not bring my tissues over here and I might get a little choked up. But Renee Jenkins is the fourth one, and she wrote a very, very, very nice comment in the group, and I really appreciate that. So Sharon, Barbara, Roxana, and Renee, please send me your address, because I will need that to send you your book. So those are the 4 winners. Let me go ahead and tell you today. Remember I told you that we're going to be talking about thoughts and that you may need some tissues. And I want to ask you, before I tell you about the prize, if I have your permission today to share some things that might challenge you a little bit. Like they might challenge you a little bit to rethink some things that you have thought before, because they definitely did for me. And I will share with you some stories about when I learned some of these things, and yeah, hopefully you were able to tag her there. But yeah, it was a very nice post. I actually read the post to my husband. I was so touched by it. So yeah, if you know any of those four people, and you can, I know Sharon's on here, the let them know or put their name in there. So yes, Tammy, challenging is how we grow. And I'm going to share a little bit about that too. Sharon is up for the challenge. So, all right. So I have your permission to be able to do that. That's awesome. So here's the prize that I'm going to go ahead and give away today. So last time I did this workshop, I thought about what incentive I could give, like what would be the most benefit to you as you're going through these challenges, and what would be a challenge that would go along with thoughts. And so I'll tell you what the challenge is a little bit later, but here is the prize that I have decided to do. And you will just need to make sure that you have the challenge done before 3 o'clock tomorrow, or not tomorrow, before Monday. So you have the whole weekend for this one to be able to do this, because I'm not doing the number 6 video in the series until Monday. So you have like the whole weekend. So you have more time for this one. But I decided that I wanted it to be something that went along with this idea of thoughts that we're going to be talking about today. And the prize should be something that, kind of corresponds to that too. So I was trying to think of what would be the best thing. And honestly, what would be the thing? Because here's what I've noticed the past couple of years that I've been in business. And I started noticing this probably about 2 years ago. I took a course and I took action in that course. And that was when I started my subscription box business, or part of my business. And when I did that, I started having people ask me questions. I started having people say, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" I started having people want to talk to me on Messenger. And as I started to realize that, I realized that when they were asking me questions, yes, they were asking me questions about how I was doing the subscription boxes. But what I found out is what a lot of them were asking, even if I told them exactly, there was a block somewhere. Like, tell me if you've ever had that happen to you, where somebody gives you all the information, they give you all the steps, and there's still something that's keeping you stuck. Like, it's just keeping you stuck from moving forward. And I think some of the information that I have to share with you today may kind of enlighten you, like it did for me, that what it was that was keeping me stuck. But what I realized is there were some underlying questions, really, that they were wondering how I was able to do all the things that I was doing, like personally, like how can I physically, and how am I able to manage? That's really what they were kind of asking me. And honestly, that really was the seed that developed this course. It was the thing that the gap that I saw that people were not understanding. And I had worked so hard on this for the past 20 years. I put all this work into this shift. So anyway, the prize that I'm going to give today, I'm going to give 5 people 15 minutes on a Zoom with me, and I'm calling these the unstuck strategy calls. So getting you unstuck from your stinking thinking. Have you ever heard that phrase before, stinking thinking? I put that in a post yesterday inside of a group, and I was like, that stinking thinking, like I just needed to get past it. That stinking thinking. So I had heard that a long time ago, and I use that sometimes. So yeah, you can give me one of those little laughing emojis or something there if you've never heard that before and you find that funny. But these 5 what did I just call unstuck strategy calls? They're going to be 15 minutes on Zoom, and we'll schedule those in the next week or so here. And basically, you're going to give to me a limiting belief, like that we talked about the other day. And we're just gonna talk through that, and I'm just gonna share whatever tips specific to you on that 15 minutes that will help you to get unstuck. And sometimes I think that that's just what we need, is that one person to kind of hear us and honor what it is that we're saying, but then give us a little push, right? Give us a little push to be able to get to that next step. So Cheryl says that's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. And Tammy says that's a great prize. So yeah, I was doing a lot of that, especially that first summer. Sharon says that's awesome. I was getting on these messenger calls and Zoom calls and things like that because people wanted to pick my brain. But even when I gave them all the steps, there was still like this block. And I think what I have to share with you today may help a little bit with that. And like I said, there may be some stories that you may need some tissues for. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you are going to take the challenge today that I'll tell you a little bit about later. And you're going to have the entire weekend to be able to do it, because you would like to have 15 minutes with somebody to just hear you talk through where it is that you're stuck and help you to figure out some strategies. So let me know in the comments if that sounds like something that you're going to do the challenge, because you definitely want to be one of those 5 people. And I've been thinking about having that be something that I offer, is those 15-minute little strategy, unstuck strategy calls. I've had somebody ask me like if they can just pay me to get on a call with me to get them unstuck. So that was kind of where that came from. So I don't know if Linda is watching, but she was the one who kind of inspired the name of that call. So, okay, so that is the prize for today. And I'll tell you the challenge a little bit later. But today, what I'm going to share with you, I actually had kind of 2 different ways that I was going to go with today. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the information similar to what I had given last March. And I'm going to do a bonus live this weekend with the other content that I just learned today. Like I just learned today and I was so excited, but I don't have it all wrapped around in my head yet to really share it fully. So I want to have a little bit more time to prep that. And I will probably do a video tomorrow or Sunday afternoon. I don't know exactly which one, but I will send out a text. If you are not on my text list, I will put a post on my Facebook page, but probably a text is the way that most people prefer to be notified of a live and to make sure. So Sharon says, heck yes, I'm going to do the challenge. That's awesome. Cheryl says she says yes before she even knows what the challenge is, because she's going to do it. I will just let you breathe a sigh of relief. I'm not going to ask you to go live anywhere. So you can just breathe a little bit. This might actually be more challenging than the live though. So, okay, here's what I'm going to give to you today. I'm going to give to you really about 20 years of my research, basically my practices, all kind of wrapped up into about 30-minute. Well, now I'm down to like 10 minutes. We're all wrapped together in the ways that I have learned to train my brain, or to retrain my brain, so that I can be more successful. And the ways that I've figured out how to train my brain so it works for me and not against me, right? Let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about, like your brain works against you sometimes. I've definitely had that happen too. So I'm going to start with this question. And I had to ask myself the same question, and I was kind of surprised by the answer. I want to ask you, do you think that you are a perfectionist? Do you think that you are a perfectionist? Now, I want to tell you that I probably would not have said that I was a perfectionist. But after I started learning a little bit more about this, I I realized a few things about myself, and maybe you will today too. So I want to ask you, or well, I want to tell you this story, and maybe this will help you to start thinking about kind of when we started getting these ideas of being perfect. And a recovering perfectionist. I love that. That's awesome, Cheryl. So my dog is barking. Hopefully you do not hear him in the background. So I want to ask you, when you were about 9 years old, maybe even a little bit younger, when you're about 9 years old, I feel like we're all pretty creative when we're like 9 or 10 years old, right? And especially like even younger, we're all pretty creative. We play make believe. We might have like imaginary friends. We create all of these things with like Legos and different things, and we build. And mine was Barbies. Like I always played with Barbies and just did all of these like creative things with the Barbies. And maybe you dressed up and you like pretended that you were a fairy princess, like that kind of thing. Tell me, like, which one of those, like, where do you feel like your creative area was when you were about that age or before this? Whatever creative, and maybe you used to love to draw. Maybe you used to love to color, in the coloring books and things like that. I think somewhere around 9 to 11, somewhere around in there, we are in maybe a class, maybe it's art class, and we're coloring, we're doing our thing, whatever. And you have this teacher that says, no, 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 you have to stay in the lines. I don't know why an art teacher would say that, but I know that happens. I know from stories of people that art teachers sometimes do not mean to say things that stick around, but they do. So around that time, maybe somebody tells you that what you're doing is not perfect. There's a level of perfectionism that they're looking for. And you somehow tie that to being perfect. And if it's not perfect, then you failed. And I want to tell you that the idea of being perfect or perfectionism is actually killing your dreams. It's killing your energy. It's killing your creativity. The idea of being perfect is an illusion, really. We're never going to be perfect this side of heaven. It's all just an illusion. So I know, Cheryl, I have too. I have too. Oh, Jerry said she started writing songs. That's very cool. Yes, we don't, Sharon. We don't care about what people. Oh, Tammy said that she did dance. We don't care about what people think about us then. We're like excited about being creative and like really don't even care what other people think about that, right? So the idea of being perfect is keeping you from failing. And that sounds like that would like we don't want to fail. Like we're actually hardwired to not want to fail at things because we want the reward of doing something well, right? We're rewarded for that. But perfectionism is keeping you from failing. Let me tell you a story. A couple of years ago, I've shared the past couple of days about how I'm in a painting group with a business coach, and I know I see a few people on here that are in that group with me. And she had shared with me, the group about 2 years ago, it was April of 2020, about this course, and there was a workshop that came before the course, right? And I took the workshop and I was in the group, and she shared a post in there, and it caught my eye because it was a black and white picture. Like, tell me if you love black and white pictures, because I think that they're just so like very dramatic. Like there's such a high contrast, they catch our attention. So this picture, I think it was of her studio, caught my attention. And she went through the story and, was kind of like telling her story there and sharing about how she started her business and how her membership came about and just all of this. And I got down to the end of this post. It was like a pretty long post. And I got down to the end, and her words of encouragement didn't seem like exactly like it at the time, but her words of encouragement at the bottom were to dream big. You can write this down because this is good and I use this all the time. This is my reminder to myself. It's very simple, very short, but it puts together what it is that we need to do. We're pretty good at the dreaming big, right? As a creative, like tell me you're pretty good at dreaming big. Like I have some big dreams, right? Like we can imagine and we can dream up all kinds of things. But what she said after that kind of caught me off guard. She said to fail fast. And I thought, fail fast? I don't want to fail at all. Like I don't want to have any failures. Like I want to be successful, right? So dream big and fail fast. And that has been something that has stuck with me all this time. Yes, have the big dreams. But do you know how you get to the goals, get to the things faster? It is to fail. Because, what was it that Thomas Edison had 10,000 failures of the light bulb, and he never saw those as failures. They were just like 10,000 other tries, before, and some of them resulted in other things besides the light bulb, right? So dream big and fail fast. So, because you know what? Failing really, when you're an entrepreneur, is not an option. There are going to be times when you fail. And the thing is, and I've learned so much about this lately here too, you have to reframe that failure into fuel. So you should probably write that down. I think that's good. Exactly how I just said it right there. Reframe your failure into fuel. And what do I mean by that? Use that as fuel for something that you've learned to get you to that next part. Don't think of yourself as a failure. That thing may have been something that failed. That doesn't mean that you're a failure. That thing may have failed, but if you reflect and you take what you learn from that, you can use that as fuel to then try something different, to tweak it, right? Or the word that we use so much in 2020, to pivot. To pivot, right? Tell me if anybody else watches Friends. I'm going to take a drink here. Anybody else watch Friends? And every single time during 2020 that they heard the word pivot, they pictured Ross on the steps with that couch and the way that Ross says pivot. I could not think of it any other way because I'm like a Friends fan. So that there's Tony. She says she watches Friends. I think we talked about that. That's all that I could think of whenever I heard the word pivot, right? Was that. So you probably want to write this down. I'm going to tell you an equation for success. And I'm going to tell you the missing piece of success that I believe that a lot of people miss, and that's why they don't feel success. And I'm going to share with you a quote from Tony Robbins, who I don't know if you put an emoji or something with this, but I can't wait to go back and see because it looks like it has like a little picture or something on there. So, oh, good. Sharon says that she watches Friends too. So I'm glad to know that other people get my references to that. So I've shared quotes about Tony Robbins, and I have one today that's probably one of the best ones of the whole week of this CBOB series. So here is the success equation that I want you to write down. So when we think of success, I think a lot of us think of achievement, right? Like what we're going to achieve, like our goals. We have these goals, and if we get to those goals, then we're successful. And that's how we kind of measure whether we're successful or not. We have a goal for how many numbers we want to come to a paint party. We have a goal for the income that we want to make. And spoiler alert here, the bonus that I'm going to talk to you about this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday afternoon, is about money and our money mindset. So there's a little spoiler alert. I'm putting it all together, but I'm excited to share about that. I don't know that I really ever shared anything like that. So that'll be this weekend, probably this afternoon. So we kind of equate our success to achievement and like what we achieve and our goals that we have. And we think that that's going to make us feel successful. It's going to equal success. But you know what's missing? Have you ever reached a goal and you don't really feel successful? It's kind of like, okay, I reached that goal. Now I guess I have to set another one because I just have to keep going. Tell me if you've ever kind of felt like that. You almost have this letdown, this feeling of letdown. And I think that's because of the missing part of the equation. So I call this the success equation, and it's achievement, but there has to be this other part. And I think for the longest time, this is what I was missing, and why I never felt like the full-time job that I was in really aligned with who I was. And that was because I didn't have fulfillment. So achievement plus fulfillment is what equals success. And another way to think about fulfillment is just gratitude. So achievement plus gratitude is what equals success. Somebody can type that into the comments there so that we can have that and make sure the success equation is achievement plus fulfillment or gratitude equals success. Because think about if you get to that goal and you actually take the time to kind of reflect on that and to be grateful for all of the things. And that does mean that you have to be grateful for all of the things and find some kind of hidden meaning, and learn from whatever that is. But it's achievement plus the fulfillment that you get. It's the feeling of fulfillment. That's what equals success. Hey, I see Tammy popping up with a little heart there. That's awesome. I love that. So let me tell you this quote by Tony Robbins, because this is really where, when I was learning about perfectionism and the idea of being perfect, thank you, Cheryl, achievement plus fulfillment or gratitude equals success with an exclamation point. I love that. Perfection. This is going to blow you away, this quote, and I'm going to look at it here on my notes so I get it correct of how he wrote it. So this is Tony Robbins. He's got amazing personal development stuff, podcasts and books. And I forget what his conference, his big conference that he has, but I've not known anyone personally, but I know of people who have been to that. And they said it's just life changing. It's just unbelievable. So his definition of perfection, not definition, but his quote about perfection is, perfection is the lowest standard that you can set for yourself because it guarantees pain. Think about if you're always trying to set yourself up to being perfect and you never measure up to that, we will never measure up to being perfect. You're always going to set yourself up for pain. And especially if you don't know how to reframe your failures, right? You're being not perfect, imperfect. That's the word, imperfect. Being imperfect, it will always cause you pain. And you know what how I say that. So this is like Jamie's revision of this quote. Perfection is the lowest standard that keeps you stuck. That's what it does. It keeps you stuck. Keeps you stuck from doing anything because you're afraid of being that you won't be perfect. But we're never going to be perfect. So it's keeping you stuck. It's really a limiting belief, and really it's beyond that. It's a lie. It's a lie that you're ever going to be perfect, and it keeps you stuck from having an impact. It keeps you stuck from affecting anyone around you. It keeps you stuck from doing any good, right? I about 20 years or so ago, I learned this lesson, and you can tell me if you've ever heard about it. Took me a little bit. I was not taking care of myself very well. I was had young kids. You know, if you're a mom, you you will understand this even if you do not have children, but you're not taking care of yourself, right? Because you think that you should be taking care of the other people around you before you ever take care of yourself. If you've ever been a caregiver to anyone, you understand what I mean when you're not taking care of yourself. And within a week, a 1 week time span, I heard this analogy 3 different times. And it was the analogy about getting on a plane and putting the face mask on, right? Like, tell me if you've ever flown. Most of us probably do not watch the little safety thing. I've flown a couple of times now, 3 times, I think, over the summer. And I see that they're doing the little safety thing, but I don't like really listen to it. But 3 times this 1 week, back 20 years ago, somebody brought up that story. And they brought up that story about putting on the face mask and taking care of myself. And by the 3rd time, I thought, oh yeah, I'm not really taking care of myself. And that being perfect, I don't know where I was connecting those. Putting the face mask on tells you that you have to take care of yourself. But taking care of yourself does not mean that you have to be perfect, right? Perfect is never going to be a strategy for success. Do you want me to tell you what the strategy for success, besides that equation there? Consistency. Consistency should be your superpower. If you can get good at being consistent, and not perfectly consistent, right? But just consistent, just doing things over and over again. They don't have to be perfect, but hitting the nail on the head is how I've heard it said. Like, you're just being consistent. That's really what's going to get you to that next level. It's going to give you success. Let me give you what really changed my mind about being perfect. And it was this thought. It was this thought about what perfection really is. Yeah, Sharon, I totally agree. And that was what I learned 20 years ago. You have to take care of yourself, because what good are you gonna, like, you can't take care of somebody else if you're operating from an empty cup, right? It has to be fulfilled. There has to be a fulfillment. It has to be filled up. I want to tell you what perfection and the idea of perfection really is. Because like I said, 20 years ago, I would have never told you that I thought that I was a perfectionist. Never. Like, I knew that I wasn't. I had very, very low feelings of self-worth, like that I was, I just thought that I was like this country girl from this little town, and, whatever. I won't go too much into that. But anyway, here's the definition of perfectionism, or being perfect, that I heard, and it just kind of like hit me in the forehead. So you're ready to write this one down? Perfection is the fear that you're not enough. Perfection is the fear that you're not enough. So we all know about fear, right? There's a book, I don't have a copy of this one, that's called Fear is a Liar. I think it's Jennifer Allwood. I haven't read that one yet, but I've heard that it's really good. Perfection is the fear that you're not enough or that you're not worthy. And that's all a lie. What is the acronym for fear? Fear is false evidence appearing real, right? For fear. False evidence appearing real. So it's false. It's a lie. Perfection is a fear that you're not enough. And that's a lie. Do you know why I know that? Because you're breathing. Like you're here. I want you to do a little exercise here. Oh, hi there, Ina. Am I saying that right? Ina? You said it on your video, and I'm not sure. Oh, fear is not the boss of me. Is that what it's called, Jenny? There you go. I think there's one called Fear is a Liar, too. So, used to feel that way until the book in these groups. I'm enough for my. There you go. There you go. You know what? I love that. So when she turned 50, I let that go. My life took a big, huge positive turn. Oh, good. Thank you. Good. I was always very conscious of that when I was a teacher, that I said people's names correctly. So I always tried to pay attention to that. But so perfection is the fear that you're not enough or that you're not worthy. You can do this little 2-second exercise whenever you're starting to feel that you need to be perfect, whenever you're starting to fear that you're not enough. You can just put your hands on your heart and you can just say, Jamie, you're enough. You can say your name, you're enough. And you know what? Putting our hands on our heart, I think that Debbie put this in the group, and she was saying that that's like a little hit of dopamine. Like when you put your hands on your heart, that, or even when you're giving yourself the high five, different little things like that, that action of doing that and putting your hands over your heart is that little injection of that feel good, because you're putting that hands. So it doesn't work as well if you just like say it out loud. It works better if you put your hands on your heart and just say to yourself that you are enough. You are. So, I see somebody put this long message here. I'll have to read that when I come back here. Tony says it robs you of enjoying your life. It definitely does. So let go of being perfect. It's not a strategy that you want to use. It's not something that is going to get you closer to perfection or closer to success. Perfection is not going to do that. Taking the action, being consistent, continuing to do that effort, right? Putting in the effort is really what's going to equal success. So you have really achievement, which is the effort. You have to put in the effort, plus the fulfillment and recognizing what you're grateful for in that experience. That's what's going to equal success for you. So we've had 5 days and we've talked about all these different concepts. And, usually I show up here on my page and I do like art. And you're probably starting to kind of wonder, like, what do these things have to do with art? And what do they have to do with a creative business? And I promise on Monday, I'm going to bring it all together and just put it all together for you and have it make sense. And I'm going to talk about evening routine, different from our AM routine. And I don't know if Jerry is still on here because she said she was having bad connection, but I know she made a comment that she's not really a morning person. That is fine. Just because I'm calling it AM routine, it doesn't necessarily need that you need to do it in the morning, just like the first thing. If you're more of a night owl and you're staying up later and that means you wake up later, just those things, those savers, just doing those, when you get up. It doesn't have to necessarily be morning. And sometimes I don't do those all in the morning. I'll do them throughout the day. So I'm just calling it AM routine. And I just wanted to mention that it doesn't necessarily need to be done in the morning. So I will explain more on Monday about how all of this comes together and these 6 different practices. And in the course that I'm going to talk about on Monday, I'll tell you about how that's all going to come together, how I'm going to go deeper into all 6 of these different practices, and the that I will be there, coaching you through those 6 different practices and be answering questions. Like, I'll share all of that on Monday for you. But I want to go ahead and give you your challenge for today. So whether you are watching live or you can put in the comments if you're coming back to watch the replay, this will be on my page here, and I'll be making a playlist on Monday after all of the videos, and then inside the CBOB group. And then you can also watch it over on YouTube. You know what I just figured out about YouTube today? You can pull up a transcript. So that's pretty awesome. I don't know if you can print it out, but I pulled up a transcript on a YouTube. So that was pretty awesome. I didn't even know that was there. And I like to listen to the YouTube video on a faster speed. So then you can listen to more videos in a quicker amount of time. But anyway, so your challenge today is to go ahead and put in the comments here a takeaway, your biggest takeaway from this video today, something that really stuck out to you, a quote, a thought that you had, some kind of revelation, just what was your takeaway today. That helps me to kind of know what it is that like resonates more with people. So I want you to share your takeaway here in the video. And then I want you to use the hashtag, which would be CBOB5 for day 5, and then 9/22. So for September 2022. So CBOB5 2022. Somebody can put that in the comments there. And what I'd like for you to do is out on your personal profile, use that hashtag so that I can find it. And out on your personal profile, I'd like for you to do something that's going to ask you to be a little bit more vulnerable, that's going to ask you to create a post where you're sharing maybe a little bit more than you normally share. And I'm going to be doing this too. So at some point over the weekend, I'm going to be doing the same challenge with you. And I'm going to put the hashtag so you can be able to find it. It'll probably be here on my business page and on my personal profile. So Tony, it is exactly what Ina, CBOB5 for day 5, and then 9/22. The reason that I had to put the 9/22 is last March when I did this same series, I had them put CBOB5. So I didn't want your post to get mixed in with their posts from March. So it's CBOB5, but then 9/22 for the month and the year. So I'd like for you to make a post, and I want you to tell a little bit about your story. A little bit about your story of thinking that you were perfect and how you realized that you weren't and what you learned from that. And it could be from this week. Maybe it could just be from today. Maybe it could be from today, something that you learned and a thought and a story that you pulled out, like some of the different ones that I talked about with the airplane and the face mask, or the post that I saw about failing fast from my business coach, or, maybe there's something that you can pull out from your past where you realize that you weren't perfect, and what you learned from that, or what you're going to take away from that going forward and doing different. So a post out on your personal profile, because that's where you have people get to know and like and trust you. It doesn't happen here on my page. It can happen inside of CBOB, but really it happens out on your personal profile where you're connecting with people. So I want you to make a post on your personal profile, something about your story, something about a time when you realized that you weren't perfect, what you learned from it. Just tell a little story, just like one little piece. It doesn't have to be like your whole life story. Just like pull out one little piece. It can be something from this week. Use that hashtag so I can be able to find it. And then if you want to come into the group and just say that you completed that challenge, Somebody took a screenshot and they posted it into the group. So that was really easy to be able to see how they did that. You can share it into the group. So it should be available for you to be able to share into the group. And then that way we can, be able to see that. But I'm going to be looking out on Facebook for that hashtag for the posts for those 5 people that I will choose on Monday to be able to get those 5 Zoom unstuck strategy calls with me that will be recorded. So you can be able to go back to those. And, like I said, I'm going to be doing this challenge too. So I will share mine into the group so that you can see that, and I'll share a story that I haven't shared before. I don't know exactly which one yet, but I'll share another story. And then on Monday, I will be sharing about the evening routine, and I will share all about the Create course that some of you have already started asking me about and wondering about, and some getting excited about. So I will share more about that on Monday. And then probably over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday afternoon sometime, I will do a bonus video in this week-long series here about money mindset. So it's kind of like adding on to today. I do have, just to finish out today, 2 books that I wanted to share with you that have made a big impact on my mindset. Oh, great. I see some of you putting your takeaways in there. Consistency. Yes, Tammy. Consistency really has been like my superpower. Like that's, if I can figure out how to be consistent, that is, yeah. So, but here are the 2 books. This is one that I just finished. There are some quotes in the CBOB group from this Think and Grow Rich. And this is an older book, but it's definitely one that has become like a big book in like the personal development world. So Think and Grow Rich, it is Napoleon Hill. And I learned a lot of things from this book that were really, they reinforce a lot of things that I already knew in different ways, and just a lot of things that I learned about how to, like, what the secret is about growing rich, which will tie very nicely into the money mindset video that I'll do. So this one, Think and Grow Rich. I am going to be putting a list of all the videos, or I mean, all the books that I've referenced. I probably won't do that until Monday, like when I've just had all of them, and I'll just put them all together. And then this one is a super quick read. It is The Compound Effect. And I just read this one pretty recently too. And there are some quotes inside, I believe, of in the CBOB group from there too. But it's Darren Hardy. And this one's a little bit more recent, I believe. And do you see the subtitle there? Jumpstart your income, your life, and your success. This one is a mindset, like just a game changer about the impact that the compound effect can have on everything. Just one little action, one little thing that you do over and over consistently, it builds. It builds. Like I always think of like a snowball, and it just like builds and builds. So lots going on. I went way over again. I don't know how that happens. Almost like an hour again today. But here's what I want to leave you with and have you to remember, that you can create a life that you love and a business that you love. Debbie noticed the header in the CBOB group says exactly that, about creating a life you love so you can create a business that you love. Because if you think you can, then you can, right? So I will see you on Monday for the 6th video about the evening routine. But over the weekend, I will have a bonus video on the money mindset. So I'll see you then.